Welcome back to CIA Declassified. We're looking at the ultimate moral trade-off. It's 1945. Germany is a graveyard of brick and ash, but as the Allied forces moved in, the real race wasn't for gold or land. It was for the men who built the vengeance weapons. The U.S. government faced a choice: leave these brilliant, often brutal minds for the Soviets, or scrub their records clean and bring them home to work for us. They chose the latter. They called it Operation Paperclip. Why? Because they literally clipped new sanitized biographies to the files of former Nazi party members. We weren't just hiring engineers, we were hiring the architects of the Third Reich. The Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, JIOA, was created specifically to oversee the recruitment of German scientists, despite President Truman's order that no committed Nazis be included. The agency realized the best scientists were often the most loyal to the party. A quote from a declassified JIOA memo dated 1947. The best interest of the United States outweighs the desire to punish these individuals for their past political affiliations. End quote. Werner von Braun, the man who gave us the Saturn V rocket, was a member of the SS and was aware of the use of slave labor at the factory. Project 63 was the shadow version of Paperclip. It was designed to bring in lower profile aerospace engineers and place them in private industry positions that weren't subject to the same public scrutiny as government roles. Hubertus Struggold, known as the father of space medicine, was later linked to human experimentation at the Dachau concentration camp. The CIA's predecessor, the OSS, set up a secret camp called P.O. Box 1142 in Virginia to interrogate Nazi rocket scientists before giving them American citizenship. A quote from Samuel Goudsmit, leader of Operation ALSOS. We were searching for the secrets of the German atomic bomb, but what we found were men who were more interested in their own survival than the morality of their work. End quote. The agency created the Ausenberg List, a directory of German scientists and engineers compiled by the Nazis themselves to identify who was essential to the war effort. Over 1,600 German scientists and their families were brought to the U.S. under these various programs between 1945 and 1959. Arthur Rudolph, a key engineer for the Saturn rocket, renounced his U.S. citizenship and left the country in 1984 rather than face a trial for his role in war crimes. The CIA provided cover stories for scientists claiming they had been anti-Nazi or apolitical during the war to ease their integration into American communities. Project 63 recruits often worked for companies like Lockheed or Boeing, where their work was classified to hide their origins from colleagues. The agency utilized the V-2 logistics to develop the early intercontinental ballistic missile program. Several paperclip scientists were involved in Project MKUltra, sharing their research on chemical warfare and sensory deprivation. The U.S. Army actually fought with the State Department over the visas for these scientists, with the military claiming the Cold War justified the moral compromise. The town of Huntsville, Alabama became known as Rocket City because so many paperclip scientists were settled there to build the Redstone Arsenal. Internal CIA payroll records show that von Braun and his team were initially paid as special consultants to the War Department to bypass standard government salary caps for enemy nationals. A 1951 security report noted that several paperclip scientists were still using their Nazi-era titles and expecting military salutes from American GIs at Fort Bliss. A quote from a declassified internal CIA memo dated 1952. The integration of these specialists is vital. Any public revelation of their wartime records would be a catastrophic intelligence failure. End quote. Agency researchers studied the leadership psychology of the Nazi scientific hierarchy to learn how to keep high-value assets productive under extreme pressure. Project 63 included a stipend fund that was funneled through shell companies to help scientists purchase homes in American suburbs without leaving a paper trail to the agency. If you look at the declassified personnel file for a high-ranking paperclip scientist, you'll find sections under Activity 1942-1944 that are buried under thick black bars. The heaviest redactions often appear next to the word DORA. A theory that haunts the archives is that the CIA didn't just hide party membership. Speculation suggests the black bars hide the execution logs, that these scientists were directly involved in selecting which slave laborers were too weak to work, and the bars cover the human attrition reports. Some researchers believe the black bars in Project 63 hide the Fourth Reich seed. Speculation is that the agency allowed these scientists to maintain a secret communication network to continue Nazi biological research on American soil, and the redactions cover the Aryan purity data. Whispers claim the redactions in von Braun's personal diary hide the D-Gloca connection. Speculation suggests the Nazis had already mastered anti-gravity technology, and the black bars hide the Bell experiment blueprints that the CIA still uses today. Could the black bars hide the lunar base? One theory suggests that paperclip scientists told the CIA the moon was already inhabited by a breakaway Nazi civilization, and the redactions cover the extraterrestrial diplomacy protocols. Some believe the redactions in the medical files hide the immortal agent. The theory is that Nazi scientists brought over a life extension serum used on high-ranking agency officials, and the black bars hide the serum side effect logs. There is a theory that the black bars in the V2 spiritual analysis hide the occult guidance. Speculation suggests the rockets weren't guided by math, but by mediums in a trance, and the bars hide the astral coordinate charts. Some speculate the redactions hide the double paperclip. The theory is that the scientists brought over were actually SS assassins who had undergone facial reconstruction, and the bars hide the kill list they brought with them. Whispers claim the black bars in the Project 63 files hide the water sabotage. A wild theory suggests these engineers helped the CIA develop compliance chemicals to be added to city reservoirs, and the redactions cover the dosage maps. Some speculate the redactions hide the Hitler escape. The theory is that the paperclip scientists provided the scientific proof of Hitler's death while actually facilitating his transport to Antarctica, and the black bars hide the submarine route logs. Finally, some speculate the redactions hide the neural link. The theory is that these scientists were working on brain-to-machine interfaces as early as 1950, and the black bars hide the volunteer subject identities. There is a chilling theory regarding the hidden cradle. Speculation suggests the black bars in the Project 63 recruitment logs hide a program to create hybrid families where Nazi genetics were merged with unsuspecting American bloodlines, and the bars cover the generational monitoring results. Could the agency have been hiding the weather wizard? Some speculate the redactions in the atmospheric research files hide a Nazi plan to steer hurricanes as weapons, and the black bars hide the vortex calibration codes that were supposedly used during the Cold War. A fringe theory suggests the black bars hide the time clipper. Speculation is that some paperclip scientists weren't from the 40s but were temporal refugees who traded future tech for a safe past, and the redactions cover the chrono displacement safety protocols. Some believe the redactions and the medical debriefings hide the painkiller. The theory suggests Nazi surgeons discovered a way to turn off human empathy surgically, and the black bars hide the emotional lobotomy success rates used to train elite agency assassins. Finally, some speculate the black bars hide the moon hoax blueprint. The theory isn't that we didn't go, but that paperclip scientists built a shadow studio as a backup in case the real mission failed, and the redactions cover the cinematic deception budget. Was Operation Paperclip a success? Technologically, it was a triumph. Without these men, the U.S. likely would not have reached the moon in 1969, and our missile defense would have lagged decades behind the Soviets. However, morally, it remains a stain. The agency successfully laundered some of history's most complicit individuals, proving that in the Cold War, brilliance was more valuable than justice. The science of sin paved the way for the modern world as far as operational breakthroughs go, such as aerospace supremacy. The transition from the V-2 to the Saturn rockets was the direct result of German expertise. Bioastronautics, the study of how the human body survives in space, was built on the questionable research of paperclip medics. Document sanitization. The agency perfected the art of backdating and rewriting personal histories to bypass immigration laws. Clandestine corporate integration. Project 63 created a template for hiding foreign assets within private American companies. We reached for the stars, but we used a ladder built by Ghost. Operation Paperclip reminds us that the apolitical scientist is often the most dangerous tool of all. Thanks for listening. Be sure to join us next time. We're going to be looking at the CIA Vulture Project. In the height of the Cold War, the agency turned to Mother Nature for a new kind of spy. We'll uncover how they used migratory birds to track radioactive plumes over the USSR, from the radioactive fields of Siberia to the tracking labs of Langley. Can you train a bird to find a nuclear secret, or was this just a flight of fancy that went too far? Join us for The Winged Watchers. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.